Welcome back to another video from Personal Finance for Us. Today's subject is going to be credit, specifically credit scores. What are they? How are they determined? Why are they important? Are they important? Answers to all these questions and more coming up right now. Okay, so before we get into the meat and potatoes of this video, I really want to talk about some perspective items when you're looking at talking about credit. I'm part of a financial group on Facebook, and I see some fairly cringeworthy questions surrounding credit and credit scores. It's important to understand credit scores for what they are, which is a report card for potential lenders. It's not actually about benefiting you per se. It's really about the lenders. What I mean is lenders want to make sure that they get their money back with interest. That's how they make money. Therefore, credit score is more of a reflection of, do you make your payments on time, rather than if you pay your debts fully or pay your debts at all. Now, that's not to say that things like paying your car off early won't boost your credit score, because they do, but there are instances actually where someone can virtually carry no debt, and then someone that carries credit card debt, actually has a higher credit score than the person that never carries debt. So the question is, who exactly is that benefiting? I mean, I have literally seen people say that they keep like a $10 balance on their credit cards just so the payment can post to some sort of utilization. But if a credit card interest is 19% of that $10 is $1.90, and that $1.90 should be mine. Look, I've seen people say, oh, who cares, it's only $1. I care. It's my dollar, and I want it. A credit score is given by one of the three major credit reporting bureaus, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. This score is assigned within a scale of 300 to 850, with lower scores reflecting bad credit history and higher scores reflecting good credit history. In 2006, the three companies merged and they created something called a Vantage Score. Aside from the three reporting agencies, another company known as the Fair Isaac Corporation, aka FICO, also issues a credit ranking and score that's pulled by a very large amount of creditors. Now, it's important to note that none of these agencies use the same methods to come up with the credit score. So it's important to look at credit in terms of the bigger picture. Many times I've seen people be driven crazy by trying to make sense of all the numbers, and why did I go up 20 points, and then why did I go down 50 points? They're all going to have a slightly different algorithm and slightly different variations, so it's really not an exact science. Not only that, but creditors will often only report to one agency, so there can be some time lapse, I guess is the word I'm looking for, between when a creditor reports to one agency and when the rest of the agencies see it. So it is possible to have things show up on one credit report that aren't showing up on another credit report. The big picture is, it's most important that the credit history reported is accurate, and of course that you don't prove yourself to be a credit risk. Okay, so what makes up a credit score? This pie right here is the Vantage Score pie. This is how they assign the percentages that are going to go into their algorithm. So for here you can see that new credit is 11%, utilization is 20%, account balances 6%, payment history is 41%, making up obviously the largest part of the pie. Credit age and mix are 20%, and what the smallest amount is available credit at 2%. Available credit meaning just how much room you have to get yourself into trouble. So obviously they don't mind that too much. Now, this is the fourth installment of the Vantage Score. This is the Vantage Score 4.0, and the previous 3 versions were actually different. So it's important to keep in mind that there's a bit of, some of this is a little bit arbitrary. It's really up to the creditors. So it is really important to not obsess over a credit score because these things can change on a whim. Okay, contrast that with the FICO score, where we see that 30% is accounts owed, 10% is new credit, 15% is credit history, 10% is credit mix, and 35% is payment history. So as you can see, there are different percentages, and I know FICO keeps theirs secret, but I believe Vantage Score is the same way in that they don't tell you exactly how numbers go into the algorithm. They only let you know the percentages of weight. So it's kind of really up to them. So as you guys can see, a credit score is really just a grading of debt management. Our society and culture has made a credit score seem like it's some sort of wealth building holy grail, but it really isn't. A credit score is just a tool to make things like getting a home easier, but technically you don't even need a credit score to do that, but that's a subject for its own video. It's incredibly important to manage credit wisely and to not use it to buy things that you can't afford. The biggest lie that's told in America is if you can afford the payment, then you can afford the item. And this is just where credit becomes a slippery slope. And that too is a subject for another video. Alright, so that is going to do it for today's video on where do credit scores come from. Again, it is pretty arbitrary, so don't drive yourself crazy. It's more important that you pay your bills on time and that you don't overstretch yourself than it is to pursue some number. People are like, oh, I want a perfect credit score, and at the end of the day, it really only matters if you intend to keep taking on debt. And the more debt you take on, the more money that you're not actually investing because you're paying down the debt. So manage it, but just make it a part of the bigger picture. Don't make it the thing that's just going to bring you all this happiness and joy and 0% interest rates, because at the end of the day, it's totally possible to have good credit and be broke. I didn't think I would spend too much time on this channel talking about credit, as I want this channel to be more of a wealth building focus than a whole lot of conversation about debt, but unfortunately there's just a whole lot of conversations and questions that people have regarding debt and debt management and credit. So there'll definitely be more videos getting into debt and credit management in the future. But in the meantime, this has been Personal Finance for Us. We out.